choice of an apple or raspberry and custard pie for just $4.
Welcome back to week 10 of the OPL, where in our second last game of the split, things got a little bit strange, Rusty.
Yeah, I'm more upset that Legacy didn't have notice that what was happening, you know, like in the
Couldn't get involved.
the interview with Denian. He was like, I didn't actually know that their first two picks were like a Jason and Elise. Like, okay, they're playing it seriously. And then they did get a little bit weird with the rest of it. So unfortunate for Legacy, and also unfortunate that in 25 minutes they were able to be beaten by Mammoth with a shapeshifter comp.
And how scary is that, right?
Yep.
You know, Legacy, whilst not having the best of splits, still a professional team. And the fact that Mammoth, a team, is flexible enough to be able to do that sends a message to the teams in the gauntlet, right?
I mean, a top 8 team in Oceania losing in 25 minutes to a fun composition with a team playing for fun is one of the scariest things. You don't think about it, right? Because it is just a fun game. But like, that's genuinely impressive.
Yeah, it certainly is. And of course, this does mark the end of Legacy season. Definitely a team that was on the rise in Split 1, but maybe faltered in Split 2 as the influx of imports came in.
Yeah.
You know, we've already talked about it a little bit. But Denian and the guys, certainly a little bit back to the drawing board, it feels like.
It felt super tumultuous for Legacy in so many ways, right? Like, and you've highlighted Split 1, they looked so promising as the split ended. Like, they were the dark horse, even though they were in 8th place, you know? And, like, they always had the promise, the possibilities of improving coming into Split 2. And it feels like they did, but everyone improved faster. You know, and like towards the end, it really, like the middle of the split, I mean, not the end, it felt like they lost themselves.
Yep.
And I think that's the worst part. You know, you never want to lose your identity, as in that week, every other team said, we've found our identity. You've lost your own.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, they also had a roster change as well, bringing in Appy into the lineup. That's always tough when, you know, someone like Dobes, who was such a, veteran impact on the team, not going to be playing with them for the last couple of weeks. I thought his and Praetor's synergy had actually improved by that stage as well. Yeah. And I think that kind of, maybe impacted Praetor's play a little bit as well, because he certainly did seem like the shining light on this Legacy roster for a lot of the year.
Definitely. I mean, Praetor was the superstar of the team. He was the one stealing Barons and Dragons while they were losing at the start of their first split, and he was the person who was starting to play really well in the AD carry role very quickly. Yep. The thing that, for me, though, while we're discussing Dobes quickly, Crazy, is that, like, the last weeks we saw of Crazy, Praetor was only playing weak side mages, and Crazy was just leaving the lane. So we never actually saw Praetor at his peak in those weeks, and then when Uppy comes in, he was playing AD carries again.
Yeah,
so
back to strong side.
Yeah, it was a weird shift for me in their decisions when the strong side Praetor was working with Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do feel like, if you're in this situation, like not much work for Legacy this year, you do have to be able to experiment. You do have to be able to try new things. I think Denian's been a really positive force on them. Certainly a coach I respect. And, obviously back to the drawing boards, but I think a lot learnt for the organization in general.
For sure.
With that to say, before we get into our next game, I want to talk about sleep routines a little bit. I kind of want to bring everyone into this because obviously I have a son at the moment and I feel terrible.
At the moment.
I'm currently in possession. Temporary thing.
I am currently in possession of a son. That is a good way to put it. And he's just not sleeping.
Okay.
Like his sleep has gone to shit. And the thing is Jasper is a good 10 to 12 hour sleeper. He's like an in bed by 7, asleep by 7:15, wakes up between 8 and 9 generally.
Slumberhead.
A great sleeper.
That was me as well.
Was that you?
Yeah, my parents took me to hospital because I was sleeping too well. I thought something was wrong because I'm the younger.
We've done that with Jasper.
Yeah,
like we used to freak out when he was like a newborn and like, holy hell, he's not even waking up for his feed. Like I would dream feed him, and dream feeds are when you give a baby a bottle while they're semi-asleep, but he would just be carked. Like he wouldn't even be taking the bottle half the time. I'd be like poking him trying to wake him up. So unfortunately, like he's vomited tonight. Jenna, the beautiful Jenna, she's dealing with everything solo at the moment because I'm an absentee father. So I apologize for that. But he has a routine. So his routine is bath.
Yep.
We cream him up because he's got eczema. So just slather him in cream. Then he's kind of slippery, and we chase him around the house for a little bit.
We slide him on the tiles.
Get rid of all the excess energy, right?
Yeah.
Then it's into the jammies, into his sleeping bag, bottle on his car couch. I brush his teeth.
Yep.
Because I'm generally home by that time. Just last scrim set done. Hour drive home done. Come back just as Jasper's on the car couch having his bottle. Brush his teeth.
Car couch. That's adorable.
Yeah.
So Jenna chases him around after the bar.
Yeah. If I'm there, I do it. But if not, And then straight into his room. Maybe 15 minutes of doing his ABC or his 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And then he's just out like a light.
hopefully.
Right. Yep. At the moment,
Good song.
there's about an hour of that when he wakes up, screams his head off, maybe vomits, gets in the car, goes for an hour drive, falls back asleep. My shift starts until 3 a.m. Then I go to bed at 3, and then Jenna's shift starts. And generally, the only way he sleeps with me, Jenna can get him to sleep in his cot, but the only way he sleeps for me is in the crook of my arm. So like with his head on my heart and then his body on a couch or something, right? He really likes that. And then he wakes up, head butts me in the face, breaks my nose. Just disaster, right? Have you got a bedtime routine?
See, that was a lot of words to get to the question. I do, I guess.
What's your bedtime routine?
So I'm not a big fan of a shower before bed.
Oh, interesting. Controversial, maybe.
Yeah, well, it is.
No. Correct.
Why is it correct?
It's just better.
I just thought it was an opinion.
No.
There you go.
Well,
Before
Jake says
bed.
controversial, and I'm just saying correct.
Okay.
So
no shower.
Please continue.
So it's not that it's no shower. It's that if I am I'm not playing games and I'm like fully engrossed in like a ranked grind or
Are
something.
you a flux player when you play games, or
Yes.
you just absorb the blue light?
Flux past 7 p.m.
Okay.
I have it. So I have my flux synchronized with sunsets
Okay.
through the year.
Interesting
so,
tactic.
Yeah, I mean it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool, right?
Continue.
So I have a shower if I have more than an hour and a half of like wind down time, is what I'm saying. Because I don't want to have like wet hair, jump in bed. That
Okay.
just feels so gross to me.
All right.
Other than that, I will do the really bad thing of look at my phone.
Yep. That's terrible.
Which is not good.
Yep.
And then what
Have you got phone flux?
I do, yes.
Okay.
On sunsets.
No.
And then what I'll do, the only other thing that I will do is before I go to sleep, I will put my phone down for at least 10 minutes. And I will try and like breathing exercises and meditation. Because I want to put your eyes away from something glary before you go to bed.
Interesting.
I'm so
Bryce.
similar and so different at the same time. Because like I'm all about like
I've just
flux,
been
my
told,
phone
by the way,
flux.
we have 7 minutes until the next champion.
no.
So feel free
You can actually do
to
your whole
tell me
routine right now.
Yeah,
No,
tell
well-
me the routine in great depth.
Well, see,
Bryce.
I went one step further than flux. You know, I have a lamp on my desk, and I've just had one of those like crappy bulbs, and it had like a little yellow shade, and so like
Right.
it was like warm light. I'm about like a warm light. You don't want
Yeah.
fluorescent. I don't want to feel clinical in my own room.
I'm going to do something
Which
I
is
never thought I would do,
a
by the
bad
way. I'm
time.
actually going to look at Twitch chat.
Okay.
Just to see if, on the I'm that desperate that on the rare chance something pops up in Twitch chat, we might talk about that too. But continue.
But my point was, I bought one of those smart bulbs that you can like program to like do
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
And so you set a routine from like 11 to 12 every night. It goes from 100% to 0. And like, I don't know if I've talked about this on the OPL before, but it literally puts me to sleep. So I have to like brush my teeth, get ready for bed. I'm not about a shower because it like just wakes you up when you're going to want to go to sleep. And it's like, that's literally
right.
suboptimal. So before 11, that all has to be done. Because from 11 to 12, I'm probably just like playing TFT on my computer or something. But my room just like slowly dims unnoticeably. And then 12 o'clock hits, and then I notice my lights are off, and I am literally asleep.
And was it like
Like,
that
it's-
from
it's
the start,
perfectly.
or was that through conditioning? And now your body's just like
No,
literally
no.
shuts down like a computer.
No, genuinely, like as soon as I got it, it's actually just
Wow.
so good. It
Do
has
you
worked
hack your
literally
body?
perfectly. Yeah.
Like in your morning routine, do you have the lamp set to turn on bright? Like
No,
do you
well, I have-
artificial sunlight yourself awake?
Well, I natural sunlight awake because
Okay.
I have curtains. I moved into a room that didn't have curtains. It just had like it had
sun?
No, it had the opposite. Instead of curtains, it was like blacked out windows.
Oh,
so
okay.
that because it was like road facing. But I'm just
Right.
like I don't care. I installed some curtains, but they're like thin, so it's like you still get like you can close it and you can't see in if it's like nighttime and my lights on. But like it still has natural light. So I wake up at like 8 or something to like the sun,
Someone
but it
in
doesn't
chat
like
has
blind
says,
me awake.
Ejim is living the life I want.
Yeah, good. Who was it?
Baited Os has also said Spawn's first girlfriend was a pillow. Wasn't everyone's first girlfriend a pillow? Pulse, have you got anything?
All right. So depending what I'm doing, because usually if I'm playing like a game or something on the computer, like I also flux after a certain point. I actually do flux 100% of the time now, just because I feel like I spend a lot of time in the computer. And then I will go into bed. I will create a cocoon around myself using the duvet, because I'm a small human. I can pretty much do this in any
The
setup.
Doona?
The doona, yeah, exactly. And then usually to go to sleep, I will listen to music, and also I use an eye mask. No one's brought up an eye mask. I use an eye mask.
I use an eye mask.
Yeah.
In the dark. You're just like,
the dark,
it's just
yeah.
not dark enough.
But also, like, depending on what
I want to
time
feel
of
like
the year
someone
it
is
is.
hugging the
No, but-
upper part of my head, but not my forehead.
I
But this
need
happens-
pressure on my brows to go to sleep.
Actually, though, I think I do. now.
Really?
Yeah, because I've
Okay.
gone to the point because I used to travel so much, right, for like
Yeah.
different events, and if I'm changing time zones, I don't
Weird
want to
flex.
like sleep at a random
Yeah.
time. Weird flex. I'm just literally everyone in this room has, right? But then you don't
4
want to like
minutes,
wake
we
up
gotta
at a
keep
random
going.
time. Like I don't want to wake up, at like 6 in the morning or something, right? If I've just gotten off a flight or something.
Oh
like
wait,
that.
so it's like like the eye mask is not for falling asleep, although you've kind of
yeah,
trained
it's for
yourself.
the light.
It's for like
specifically.
waking up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
What about when you're flying? Because I know you've said this is why you've started it. But
Yeah.
the thing that freaks me out with an eye mask on a plane is the altitude shifts. Like the feeling of like I'm dropping in air and I can't see what's going on. Feels like I am, while I'm like trying to fall asleep, like I'm
Yeah.
falling and I jolt awake.
I mean, for me, I think I've conditioned myself. Like as soon as I walk onto a plane, I feel sleepy. So like I'll just like fall
Yeah,
asleep.
like
as
that.
soon
No,
as I
No,
go
I'm
down.
the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
I sleep. I fell asleep as a child, like on like stairs, like carpet stairs in my house. But like I'd sit down and be bored, and then
You're
I'd
a
fall
freak.
asleep.
Yeah.
That's a weird.
So I have a very different routine to everyone.
Okay.
Because, and bear with me, not to bring the mood of the room down,
Oh no.
but I suffer from pretty shit anxiety. So I have a shower because I'm one of those people that if I don't feel clean, like I
Yeah,
can't get
yeah.
anything done.
Yeah.
So I shower in the morning, I shower after work, and I shower at night. So I'm a 3 shower a day.
That's insane.
Shower.
And then what I do is I jump in bed next to Jenna
Yeah.
and I hug Jenna and I read my book. And the reason I read my book is because otherwise I just sit there and think about all the stuff in my life that I'm currently dealing with. Like, can I make Gauntlet this weekend? Like, what's happening with order? What's happening with casting? Like, why is Nick not responding to my text? I thought we were friends, not just colleagues. Like, all this stuff is going through my head, right? And then Jenna is the warm sleeper and I'm the cold sleeper. So she'll roll over and then I'll roll over and then I'll keep trying to read my book. And I inevitably get really frustrated because I hate my glasses pushing into this side
You
of
have
my
to
head.
wear your glasses to read.
Have to wear my glasses to read. I am
Yeah, you're so
legally
That's
blind
tragic.
You're-
without glasses.
That's tragic.
And then I used to be able to, when I was sick of that, reach over and put my glasses and my phone, which is what I read on,
Yeah.
on my bedside table. I now sleep in a king-size bed.
You got a whole lot of bed.
There is too much bed. Like, my side tables
Yeah.
are now just a portion of my bed.
Yeah, weird flex.
So I
okay.
just put my, I mean, it's not a weird flex because I didn't want the king-size bed. I like small beds. So then I put my phone and my glasses on my bed, and then I try and fall asleep. But I will read for anywhere between 2.5 to 5 hours a night,
Yeah.
depending on.
How do
I-
you do that with Jenna? Like, how do you? Because you say you're hugging Jenna, right?
Yep.
Let's just say you are. Where's the book sit?
Okay,
Is
so
it
the
on her
book sits
back?
on Jenna.
Is she
so-
like flex her?
No,
like,
so she just like is curled up with the blanket like this, right?
yeah.
And then what I'll do is I'll hug her with one hand. I'll put my arm under my head with the other, and put
then go,
the. So I'll kinda, but I'll put my arm over my head like
Monkeys
this.
in a
So-
barrel.
So it's the the phone is in front of me like
Yeah.
this, and then I swipe with my thumb,
Oh, you read on
and
the
it's
real
resting on
book.
Jenna.
Wow.
Oh.
So like I'm like this,
Yeah, you
and
could
Jenna's
never use
laying
a
in
book.
front of me.
That's a
I'm out
sustainable
of the
play.
camera shot.
You could never have a book.
And yeah, so no, I used to do it with a book. The way I used to do it with a book is I used to fold the book in half, and I was very good with flipping the page over with my thumb and turning the book
Okay.
and reading it. So I used to be able to do it with a book. Then I went to a Kindle. Now I lost my Kindle on a flight, and then I called the flight people. I won't name them, but they're
Unnamed,
aeroplane
not so good.
Constellation
Airline.
and they so they lost my Kindle, so now I do it on my mobile phone. And unfortunately, Twitch chat, you are enjoying this a lot. Dash BB, I'm not saying your name. You're enjoying this a lot, but we do have a game to play.
Damn
It
it,
is
Seaplane
first versus
Nebula.
second. It is Bombers versus it's actually first versus third.
Yeah, it is.
You know what, the longer this show has gone, the worse off we've all been. Let's go to the Bacchus champs.
We've lost a member.
Yeah, we have. We're literally
We're down
man
a man.
We're 12 games in, and this is it. And I've got Bryce, Ejim, Paul next to me
Hell
for
yeah, brother.
the final run over the finish line. We'll see if
We
we
can
can make
do
it
it.
in one piece.
We can do
Yeah.
it together.
I believe we can.
I believe in us. But yeah, first versus third. Last game was Shapeshifters versus Tryhard.
Yes.
Shapeshifters won.
I want to know if we are going to have a fun comp, if both teams are going to buy into it, or were
Yeah.
informed whether one team is going to do it or one team it does not.
Because when does it start? Does it start in bands? Because I feel like you
Last
need
time I
like
didn't.
you need like 3 bands done right? Because it's like you can spell a word with 3 bands. 2 letters
Yeah.
isn't enough, but you could be like,
I mean, back in my
don't
day,
know.
we only had 3 bands, so you had to do what you could.
is this another Mole Man joke?
Mole Man, the official Simpsons character of the OPL.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, these look
Kiana,
like real
Corky.
bands though.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, last game there were real bands also.
So we're not out of the woodwork
So
just
we're
yet.
not out of the
Who would
woodwork.
instigate? I
Who
think
would instigate?
Chiefs would instigate. Lucio,
Yes.
Soul Strikes, coach on your screen right now, very serious man. I feel like
There's two
unless there's
Lucios though.
a significant buy-in.
Yeah, I think there's Lucio and there's Soul Strikes, right?
Oh, there's
like-
Lucio eats
As a
ramen
per-
with you, and
yes.
Soul Strike waves his finger at you when you lock in
Correct.
the wrong champion.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
There's definitely 2 sides. One's the Maokai clap, and yeah, the other's the enjoys good food.
Yeah, okay, sure. I can get behind that. Volt also a fairly serious coach.
Yeah,
with the
I would say
Chiefs
so.
off and on for a very long time now, though, and I feel like he could get around a troll game. Though. He's
Yeah.
actually well. The thing with both of these 2 coaches is they're actually relatively high ranked. That's a conversation we don't have a bunch, but actually most OPL coaches are super high ranked. Fantix is like, I don't know if he's top 10 currently, but he's been top 10 in
Yeah.
the last couple of months.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, has there ever really been a coach ever who has been like, well, yeah, absolutely. Actually,
I do
thinking
like
about it,
tons, like
yeah,
most
yeah,
of them.
yeah.
Like Jake.
Like Jake.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of coaches who didn't even like play League at all, but were still great coaches.
Really?
I mean, think of like
That's a
Daylor,
weird one.
right? Monte Cristo
Yeah, okay. What Monte Cristo played to like
used
a silver
to play,
level, though, right?
and then
Yeah.
just stopped,
Yeah.
and then was like, yeah, everything else came from game analytics. Yeah, and it's definitely been a good amount of coaches who just brought in knowledge either from like different coaching styles from like traditional sports or from different genres. Like poker was obviously for Daylor, right? So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Okay.
so obviously that's very interesting, correct? Because I think it's like one of the only roles where like that you can bring something else in there. We do have some picks.
Yeah. They don't look like troll.
No.
Yeah. Looks like a bunch of serious stuff. Yumi actually getting through. We don't see her very often. Very high ban rate. We saw one other game today, and I'm surprised
Evolution,
that,
yeah.
Bombers didn't actually go for the first pick. Rogue, the last couple of weeks, has been playing tons of Yumi with the Vladimir specifically down there for Luch, but Ayla's going to get his hands on it, and ooh, okay, gauntlet thrown. That's going to be 20k Draven. Thresh Cassio can be the assumed bottom lane already locked in here for Bombers, and they're just going all-out aggression here. The Yumi sits on his back. So much damage can be dealt from just those 2 members alone.
Yep. Yeah, this game isn't going to be a troll game, but it is going to be a flashy showcase game. I mean, with
That's
picks
what
like
you want.
Thresh, Draven running around the Rift, Aurelia as well. Big styling champion. And yeah, Renekton ban out here. We'll see if they just ban away like pretty generic meta bans right here. Because I feel like if someone's got a signature pick, you let them have it. Then again, they just banned Akali, so maybe not. Maybe
Yeah, I would
maybe
assume
maybe
from
you'll-
Chiefs' side, like last ban, probably has to be something like Sejuani, unless they want to take it for themselves. Given it's Aurelia already locked in, Skarner, reasonable answer already, and Jungle Pool is actually getting hit fairly significantly, right? The Talia is gone, Skarner, Gragas already off the table. You do start to delve down. You still have like Jarvan, Rek'Sai, Lee Sin, Sejuani, if it doesn't get banned, but that would be my assumption into this one for the Chiefs.
Yep, Skarner ban, really simple stuff. And for the Chiefs, Skarner ban, Sejuani, yeah, indeed. If you were to pick a big like styling champ, something that you want to show off in this game, like what players and what champion, right? Like I think of Ryoma, look at like Akali.
Ryoma Zed.
Ryoma
Zed into
Zed.
Azir. Let's get it. Gets ninja buff, does more damage.
True.
He's chilling.
If he's the only one on the team.
Yeah.
For you, what's your styling champion?
Bard.
Bard.
Yeah, 100%.
Rapid fire cannon.
No. Oh, people that build like
One
rapid fire can't. Yeah, they're all noobs. No, you gotta go Leandri's Nashes. That's the real build.
Oh, so
Yeah.
okay, AP
So like
on
you,
hit.
you win like a sustained fight. Like once you get
Yeah,
ahead,
right.
like it's not just like, oh, I hit you once and walk away like a coward. It's like I hit you, like I slap you with my slow. My meeps are,
Yep.
are procking all over the place, and you just win.
Yeah,
You
that's
just straight
fair.
up win. It's
Jeez.
so good. I like the Halo Blades Bard. I've never played it myself, but
Halo
I've seen
Blades Bard.
a bunch of it, and I've played a bunch against it. looks real fun.
Good.
Just like free attack speed. Because normally I'm like an
Sure.
electrocute.
Meep.
Yeah, because I feel like electrocute in lane, like Bard's trading pattern is very like Q auto and that's it. And with Meeps, you proc electrocute. Like it's really hard to have a sustained approach. As
Kha'Zix.
yeah.
Hello.
Was he changed on patch 9.15 or was it 16? I believe it was this patch.
15. Yeah, I think so.
So received some slight changes, slight buff there. So Wilder happy to lock that one in. Jarvan is a very standard blind pick in the current meta, right? And if you can isolate him, get ahead in the jungle, Kha'Zix can be very oppressive.
I remember we followed by Hover. Yeah, I mean, I remember days when we used to see Kha'Zix all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Back when we had old Herald, you could stealth through the Herald and get the eye proc by yourself, and that was like a big strategy that only Kha'Zix could really do.
Yeah, fair.
And then we went through many different iterations, and we get the Red Demon on his signature pick of the Riven.
Back at it. Cheeky hover of the Kled. Shoutouts to Swiper. But we'll just be watching the boys behind the scenes this time. Riven again for Tien. Last time he played it, he was twerking all over Legacy. See if he can do the same to Mimic. Different ballpark here. First and third, respectively. Already locked into the gauntlet, but this is a fun draft already. There's a lot of aggression coming out of this one. A lot of one-hit potential. And yeah, shaping up to be a quick one, maybe?
Perhaps. We'll see. I mean, first time TM played Riven. Made it to the Penta. Make it 2 out of 2. Let's go.
It was into Aatrox as well. It's the same
it was,
matchup.
yeah. This time it's into Mimic's Aatrox, which I would say is somewhat more difficult, perhaps. But yeah, mid lane we've got Roma and Irelia. All these champions can like pop off in their own individual ways across the board. So it's really, who are we going to be looking at? Because not everybody can be a winner.
Yeah, that is true. And I think of Kha'Zix in the hands of Bombers, and you think back to Balkan, in all honesty. Split 1. This guy, rookie jungler coming in, Korean solo queue, known by Mimic, brought into the roster, was absolutely popping off, and Wilder now Korean import jungle. Round number 2 for split number 2 here, and looking to do exactly the same thing. Yeah, he's super interesting. Not a guy we've seen for a very long time, but yeah, back on the Rift. He's also just literally dribbling. I've never noticed that before.
That's true, yeah. I mean, I think the idea is that he's like just eating something, right? Because the whole thing is like
it's also disgusting.
And then he like transforms and gains their characteristics, right? Like that's most of the Void things. They just eat stuff.
Oh, and gains their characteristics.
Yeah, right? Isn't that the point? He like changes and adapts. We've got Lucio with us. Isn't that the case with Kha'Zix? He like eats stuff and yeah. You know, you think about all the Void champions apart from Vel'Koz, they eat things. And like Vel'Koz is like the brainy one.
Is that true? Does Kog'Maw eat things?
Yes.
Yeah.
He always talks about eating stuff.
Yeah, Kog'Maw's saying hungry or something.
Yeah, he's saying how hungry he is all the time. Like, literally his lore is he, like, was spawned into Runeterra from, like, Icafia or whatever, and then he was just eating everything on his way. And then, like, the Institute of War was like, you need to stop that, and, like, picked him up and, yeah, imprisoned him.
Like a Sims Child Protective Services just zapped him out, just lifted him up.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I didn't know that.
What's happening at level 1?
Lucio's like, this interview sucks. Like, what's happening? Go back
Get
to
me
the
out of
game.
here.
Yeah, what is happening? Yuumi doing Yuumi things. How are you feeling about this one? We did just see Shapeshifters versus Zyra Khan, very standard, going up against the Chiefs. Was there any sort of shenanigans afoot before we got into this?
Not really. I really... I talked to like Chief as well before, and I really wanted to like have like a real match against them, and they seem to agree with it. So I think it's good to go into like a build up into Gauntlet. Like, we did drop a game against the Olv, but I'm here to make sure that I don't pressure my players, and dying is fine, mistakes are fine right now. Let's just learn and make sure we prepare for the Gauntlet.
At the same time, there's a lot of champions from both sides which are very, like, hypey picks, right? Like, I look towards, like, Riven, potentially, like, Ryoma and Irelia as well. You know, there's, like, playmaking picks like Rogon Thresh. It seems like, yes, while this is a serious game, there's also players looking to kind of showcase what they have.
Yeah, definitely. And we thrive to show, like, a lot of picks and trying to get advantage through draft and the Gauntlet.
Yeah, fair. And were you surprised by the results today? Because, you know, we had Order versus Avant today. Order managed to take it in the end, but was that what you were expecting?
Yeah, well, Order taking down Chief, and they looked really good, like, coming into, like, this week. And huge props to them, and especially their bot lane and well, their whole team in general played really well. So, bit unfortunate for AV side, but I can see like a lot of them have a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, and okay, obviously you new to the Bombers lineup this split, but organization sitting in a different position going into the Gauntlet last year. They were just sitting at the top, watching everybody battle it out. How are you feeling about your position in the Gauntlet? Like, are you worried about Order making another run? Is there any team you think can do it?
Best of 1 and best of 5 are a totally different game, and I really believe that like last year, again, I versed Order, so it should be fine at this time round. And yeah, this I'm always going to be prepared for best of 5, and we're going to do well at best of 5.
Do you think like any specific teams are going to be benefiting a lot from best of 5, or maybe even dropping down? Do you think some teams have maybe gotten an advantage over the split in the best of 1 format?
Maybe Mammoth, because they all played best of 5 before, so they should know like how to play games, and some of them won and even lost at best of 5, so they're in a good position to play best of 5 stuff.
Yeah, right. We do have another gank in the top lane, literally just a repeat gank, forcing that to flash this time. We'll get away from this. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us, Soul Strikes, and yeah, good luck on this game.
All right, cheers.
Yeah, repeat gank is exactly it. Mid lane now, Ryoma. Conqueror procced. Oh, press the attack procced, not the Conqueror.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Press the attack earlier. Pretty easy to access on this champion. A lot of upfront damage. But obviously, Conqueror is many times just the way to go for a lot of bruises. You're going to see it here on the Riven. Again, very easy to access. Going to get it on the Jarvan as well. But pretty rare you see Ireda without it.
New Conqueror was just a good time. Oh, that is a very important cancel. You can see only on the minimap, just immediately starts tracking up, but Tien
uses the E, follows it with the stun, but won't get the outplay this time. Unfortunately, too little health to make it happen underneath tower.
And that is such a big wave, just dying to the turret right now. Cannon minion already dead, so not going to tank up for the rest of the little guys. TP will get him back and elite the second one, but huge advantage already for Mimic, who's been ganked twice. First one just dashes away from the EQ. Second one actually holds out. A bit of implied pressure from Wilder was enough to stymie the process there, but turning that one around, very nice play from Wilder. Cements Bombers with the first blood this game.
Yeah, and onto Tien as well into the top side, so this is not going to be the same snowball game we saw before from him. Still time for it, perhaps, but you know, it was like pretty clear what Oni was looking for. You know, snowball the Riven, get her big, kill the lane, push the lane out, maybe look to roam and win those skirmishes. But yeah, singular gank underneath tower, stopping the recall there from Wilder.
Oh, blocks the E as well.
Very nice.
Yeah. He's going to be the TP lane versus the Ignite. So Ryoma, of course, Aurelia versus Azir has that kill potential, but Claire just based, TP'd back, and then got immediately chunked out. Has to blow the flash solo in the matchup. So already this game, only 5 minutes in, but getting pretty active all over the Rift.
Indeed, yeah. Just kind of farming up to that spot right now, and Ryoma has just hit 6 on top lane. Yeah, Riven trying to catch up in this one. First back, actually, Mimic gets full tabbies into Riven, which is going to be a big deal here in these trades. Okay, Bumper starting off the Dragon on Vision, and they're literally on Crab, so they know they're shown on this one. But
they see only doing his golems. Very nice warding up there. I believe it was actually Wilder after the top gank, after the dive, placed that one down. And you can see as well, just before we pan down to the Dragon, Mimic actually placed a ward deep in the lane. So he's sitting there knowing full well where the Jarvan is, and if he goes for any sort of lane shenanigans, we'll be quite aware. So Bombers heads up play, but Prio equals an early Ocean Dragon, and we all know the regen, the sustain, the mana is super nice for early laning phase.
Absolutely. Make it even harder for Tien in the top side. The Mimic is starting to take over this lane, absolutely pushing this one in. And yet again, here's only in the top side of the map. Actually looking for a recall though. Doesn't really feel the gank. Big minion wave stacking underneath the tower. Tien doesn't really want to fight this one.
It's such a risky play. Even if you get the kill, you probably lose more in experience and gold in the wave that large dying to the turrets. So not quite worth even looking towards. But you can see that's a longsword buy versus tabbies. And he's getting bopped. Raze Same sort of thing. That was a flash.
Yeah, has to flash away on this Draven. Hasn't died yet, so it's still building up adoration. But yeah, if they can get that first kill onto the Draven, seriously cripples his economy. The early game is really when you get most of those adoration stacks when you're just in a lane farming.
Yeah, doing nothing.
Yeah, you feel like you're walking to the bank with cash in your pocket, and that's the one time where you really can take away stuff from a champion, when you're denying Draven his stacks. Let's see if we can make it happen.
Yeah, coming into this one, Chiefs actually struggling in this early game right now. It's just a kill, and the gold lead isn't massive, but Bombers have done a very nice job spotting out only his jungle pathing. I would mention it. Like, we've seen what Tien's Ribbon looks like when ahead. That is a champion that snowballs out of control, and we've already seen that before, but Mimic is sitting down here fine. Bot lane, a Draven matchup isn't sitting there with a bunch of pressure. Is basically even in CS, a couple down, maybe a wave or so, and Ryoma in the mid lane has had his lion's share of the action, is just constantly dashing onto Claire. So in all of these lanes right now, Bomber's just sitting pretty, and that's exactly what you want as a Kha'Zix. He literally has an ability that benefits from isolation. If you can just find that jungle matchup and look to bully out the Jarvan, that is so, so useful here for the blue team.
Yeah, we'll see if we can actually track down that Jarvan. Yeah, what max is it going to be here from, or evolve rather, from Kha'Zix? I presume Q, but you never know with Kha'Zix. At one point it was W, at one point it was E, at one point it was R.
Yeah, for like the extra stealth, the damage reduction.
You could stealth through the entire jungle.
Yeah, that was when like it just gave you the free stealth when you walk in the bush.
Yeah.
And it just lasted forever.
Correct,
God damn, that was obnoxious. Because the one thing, like, when you play League of Legends, if you have vision of an area, like, you have vision of an area, people can't just like straight up walk through it. Unless they're like a stealth champ that like Q, Twitch presses Q, that's it.
Yeah.
Eve was the only one, but yeah, Kha'Zix doing that was obnoxious.
Yeah, it was just crazy. I mean, his ultimate has been changed so many times.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would presume it's probably just like pretty standard on the queue here. But it's difficult creating a champion where you want him to be able to evolve different things depending on game state, because then you just kind of make him too strong. Because then it's just like now he has the perfect thing for every situation.
Yeah, and League of Legends players are stubborn. Very rarely do champions actually have like versatile builds. You know what I mean? It really does come down to like, okay, this is the best. This is what you do.
And anything else is troll.
Go and do it. Yeah. Oh, okay.
The ultimate right here, where he's gonna get caught in the box. Luch throws out the ultimate, petrifies Ayla. He reattaches to Raze, teleport into the bottom lane, gets the first kill onto Ayla, the second onto the AD carry, and only has to back away. 3 kills to start this game.
Yeah, Mimic with the save. The TP lands. Tien cannot match about 10 seconds on the cooldown, and this bottom lane for the Chiefs, I've said it multiple times before, they're the best looking bottom lane in the league so far. They're struggling with the Draven locking in. This is going to be more plates going over to boot.
First tower. Getting plates off of this one, and yeah, Bombers, great start to this. Obviously, the game earlier today did not win, but yeah, this is looking significantly better, and against the Chiefs, no less. While they're clearing out that water, and he's going to spot it as he turns the corner, but he is well and truly in vision. So Wilder knows he's going to be walking up towards him, and he just backs off to his own jungle.
Yeah, and that bot 2v2 before the TPs landed was actually very close, right? Like Rogue, you can tell a Thresh player is feeling themselves when they're just stepping up and throwing hooks kind of willy-nilly. It's like, he's like, okay, my Cassio is big enough. And take a look what happens. Raze jukes towards the minions, goes to the hook. Very smart. The punish is here, but Luch's Q after the ulti does not connect. So Ayla actually lives off the back end. The E, the Zoomies comes through, and if the TP didn't land, that actually could have been disastrous scenario. A 3 versus 3 without Mimic skewing it. Could have been a victory there for the Chiefs, but very close. The TP, of course, did land, utilizing the top lane matchup to help out the bot lane, and Bombers turn what was a slight gold lead into 2,000, almost 3, only 11 minutes into this game.
Yeah, and it's also, by proxy, because it went on top of the Aatrox, further stressing this Riven out.
Yeah.
Now 2-0-1, like, the chances of the Riven outplaying the Aatrox very low. Really has to find her own opportunities now in skirmishes. So at least in the side lane, it's not going to be run away from. And yeah, this Riven pick currently, I'm going to say it just didn't work out, but you know, unfortunate circumstances for it really to do what it wants to do.
Always has that threat of like, I can one-hit a backline, a team fight.
Yeah.
Certainly isn't set up for success currently. A lot of pings are on this Rift Herald right now. Chiefs want the contest. But Mimic walking over. Here's the pressure point right now is going to be enough to dissuade them. So 1.6k. The eye damage does about 1.5 of that, and a very easy pickup there for the Bombers.
Yeah. Rogue and Lutz will find themselves in top lane here. There's 2 versus 2. I believe this is... we've seen Lutz play Cassiopeia before. He's played the Vladimir, the Victor, and I think the Cassiopeia as well.
Yep.
I was mainly thinking about this bit, but I think he has picked it up once before.
Thresh
yeah.
Cassio seems to be like the bot lane that they play, right? It's not it's like the Yuumi with the Vladimir.
Correct.
But then if a hook ever lands, it's just guaranteed petrifying gaze, right? And the CC from Thresh, it's very insular, right? Like you land something and then you kind of bring everybody inside the box. That's just like Miasma's perfect situation.
Yeah, right.
Like everything from Cassio is a zoned ability. It's not just like a skill shot going in a direction. It is really about 1 point. And so, yeah, Thresh kind of does synergize very well down there. And Bombers liking this pickup so far.
Absolutely. We'll see how this one pans out. 13 minutes in, 3 kills to Bombers, 2 Dragons. Next Dragon's going to be another Infernal. Tien's going to spot Wilder as he just finishes off the isolated blue buff. And we'll probably take this crab as well. Kaz is just having a pretty good early game overall.
Yeah.
That 1 kill, multiple camps ahead, and finished Warrior in chat.
It's probably ideal territory when all your lanes are winning. And you
Helps,
just get,
yes.
you're just a jungler, like, okay, this is a good time.
I
I
don't
get
need to do anything, I just farm.
Yeah, whatever I want. I can attack the jungler, I can get a Rift Herald, I can just farm. Wilder done a little bit of everything. Rift Herald in his back pocket, he can cast it, but was spotted by that vision.
Black Dragon only did get him, but means to get to the
ulti-pops.
tower. Mimic goes through the tower, only has to jump back to his own. Jump over the wall, Tien gets the stun, but Wilder's out of there. And now has to try and back off. Ryoma claims the kill. Claire shifting sands over the wall.
Yeah, mid laners haven't been so active this game, but finally Ryoma picks up the first kill. The mid lane bunch, Claire and Tien linking up the optimistic duo. Stunt over the wall, maybe the one shot could have been there. But Bombers, once again, they just had the numbers. Every single time they've had a very smart read on this game. Aatrox commits early. Wilder walking over. Hook is on.
Flash
Prediction.
hook into this mid lane. Ayla gets caught out into the Vanguard's edge. Only now caught. As the flag drag over the wall as the Blade Surge connects. Claire spawning a Swan, conquering Sands, and here comes Wilder as well. Do not really want to fight this, and it's 5-0.
Yeah, almost finds the secondary onto the Azir, but Hex Splash out of the bush predicts the Juke from the Yuumi, and then Rogue has been a Thresh Goblin his entire career, flays back the reattachment from the cat in Ayla, so we can't get back to the team fight. That was straight up mechanics right there, looking the goods so far. And yeah, just another kill. 5 now, and this gold lead was like a couple of thousand a couple of seconds ago. Turret breaks, kills go over, and it's, what, 5,000 at 15 minutes?
Yeah, and this is always a caster curse swing when you say it, but this is a perfect game presently. 1 tower, 2 dragons,
We're
5
only 15
kills,
minutes in.
15 minutes in, which is why I say it's always a curse. Obviously, he hates it when I say it before 10 minutes, but with 15 minutes. At what stage can you say it as a cat? What do you think is acceptable?
I mean, you have a microphone, so literally whenever you want.
Yeah, but clearly you don't like it, Bryce.
Yeah.
You're 50% of this cast.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I actually, on second thought, like I like the optimistic pickup. I think nobody on the Bombers is thinking about it right now. Post like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
once you have Baron and you're still in territory, that's when it springs into a player's mind. Before that point, I think
No one really
no
thinking
bueno.
about it.
Yeah, there's too many stuff, too much stuff going on.
Yeah, right.
Too many stuffs.
And also that's like just a cherry on top, you know? You're never really playing for the perfect game. Yeah, defending outer turret topside at 40 minutes just because you don't want a tower to drop. Yeah, now tower is going to be dropped. Pushing into the bottom jungle as well here. Chiefs are all posturing, basically just hiding behind walls and behind vision. This mid tower should be dropping though. Raze has Ada attached to him. And yeah, Cassiopeia doing a pretty good job of zoning. Cops a couple tower shots for that one, but still mid lane tower down.
Luch definitely traded his HP bar with the turret there. Eventually he won, the turret fell down.
That is true.
But you can tell a lot from how a team is feeling based on how they play, right? That was Ryoma still walking at a base, and the rest of Bombers are just like, yeah, okay, like we'll just drop Rift Herald. They're not going to fight us, no way.
Yeah, right.
So they're feeling very comfortable in their position. Raze is still on the Draven, hasn't had a cash in this game, no assist, no kill. Chiefs not one to their name so far, and that's not really where you want to be. Does have that first item, but Ayla and Raze isn't going to be enough to dissuade the push. Bombers really rotating all over the map, and you can kind of tell that's somewhat of the game plan. This is a very open map already. One of the outer ring is available, and Wilder has Moby Boots. So when he gets to Duskblade, first item will be completed, but he wants to run around. He wants to attack the side lane, and look, just forced out one. Maybe he looks to clear.
Brings up the tower instantaneously. It's like, I do not want to be assassinated by this Kha'Zix. Rejoins the minion wave as well, basically just staying out of isolation as much as he can.
And is that the ult transform? Because he's red.
Yes, I believe
So it must be, yeah.
Yeah. So he went, yeah, ult transform first. Interesting. And this is pretty old school. Yeah, it's used to be all the rage back in the day. But yeah, sometimes you just see like the Q into E, and then maybe like ult afterwards as like an afterthought. For those resets and isolation damage, but yeah, it's going for the stealth.
Hook is on.
Hook on's only. Luke isn't really in position, so we'll just lance him to safety.
And an old school combo here with a Thresh. Normally, Thresh you think about as like that carry champion,
Yep.
Thresh flying into the backline, but when you do have an assassin jungle with a one-way gap close, Lantern is really like the crux of that kit. Hook lands, Wilder can afford to jump in, get the maximum damage, and just has that extra little W button. Dark Passage flies him to safety, so you can see well rehearsed in this one. Rogue and Wilder playing together for an entire split, but they were doing this in like week 3, I remember. It was a Jarvan Thresh combo, exactly the same scenario, and now Infernal Dragon off the back end. This is honestly just a scary game for the Bombers against a Chiefs. They're like the first seed going in. They've locked MEO. This is a surprising turn of events here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, the skeptic can always say, well, you know, they're not really playing for anything. Like, it doesn't change their standings. But, and we heard it from Vault the other day, it'd be pretty nice to go into, you know, MEO with a 10-win streak, right? There were 7 coming into this week. Win the last 2, so coming in with a huge win streak into a finals is huge momentum for any team.
And that's the thing, right? Like, if both of the teams went for meme comps, then yes, all bars up, like the game means nothing. But as soon as it's a serious draft on Summoner's Rift, then yeah, this is not for stakes in the ladder, but for bragging rights, for confidence, for everything else mentally going into the gauntlet, going into MEO.
Yeah, and this is kind of a bragging comp as well when you draft Riven Draven in the same game.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just like, yeah, you played Riven against Legacy, right? Like a team with 1 win, and it's like, yeah, okay, you popped off. Can you do it against the Bombers? Well,
and if no, then, you know.
Yeah, Mimic
hurts the ego a little.
Strong.
Absolutely. And yeah, this is a very strong Bombers team right now. Have been collecting dragons. Next one's going to be another Infernal to join it if they can just claim that. And that's going to be double Infernals on this carry comp.
9 million pings into the mid lane. Rogue looking for the flash flay, but Raze chucks him sideways and gets himself to safety.
Yeah, pretty much every jungle entrance was guarded by a member of the Chiefs. Only was stopping top side. Riven was clogging the bottom. It's like, all right, just protect the mid lane.
And it's also kind of the marquee in terms of like the smart ping system of a mixed language team.
Yeah,
double Korean
absolutely.
imports, and it's like, okay, like this is the easiest tool we have. Yes, they speak like enough English and League of Legends English as well. But you saw that was every single member on the team synchronized, holding the Alt key, dragging your mouse right, and they were zooming into mid lane.
Yeah. Always the classic example as players getting caught on the top side is, you know, Starhorn Royal when they made the Worlds run. It was just like, it was mixed language team, and it was literally like pings happening in a world-class game. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Wilder's going to be dragged to safety once again by the Lantern. Flag comes down, spots Ryoma.
Yeah, smart play by both of these guys, only just putting down the flag, but Ryoma actually just waiting in the wings. He hadn't shown as of yet, but does show his face now. Of course, level 11 dinged means the W upgrade is going to be there from the Kha'Zix, so has more of an annoying slow, heals himself back up as well.
Yeah, so this was Alt W, actually. Yeah, which is very interesting. So completely detached from the Q and then the E resets, looking for single targets, bounce, bounce, bounce. Yeah, going for the lethality here as well, on top of that Warrior enchant.
He's definitely still playing like a Q max, though.
True.
Right? Like, it's not optimum damage if you find a target, but right now he's just like, they have all the Baron control. Missing ping from the Chiefs onto the Baron kit. They have nothing, and they will need to bring over multiple members, but Wilder has just swept his way through top jungle and has sat in there for about 1:45 only. He wants to get in there, but Wilder is just such a nuisance and allows Mimic, I should say Ryoma, to continue pushing top. They've had mid-prio this entire time. May have stepped too far, though.
Flag drag whip, knock up, he hops the wall. And with Ryoma here, doesn't really want the fight. It's going to be a 3 versus 2, but maybe one, like 2.5.
Yeah.
So not quite feeling it. Tien's going to push out the entirety of this bot lane wave now. Push up river, but Luch is coming down to try and cut him off along with Rogue. Mimic is checking the brushes, now has a good feeling where he is. Spots him, Miasma doesn't quite catch it. Flash into play, into box, into petrifying gaze. Stun and dragged. Another kill. Yeah. Well played.
Riven 0-3 right now, not working out, and a very heads-up play from the Bombers. Miasma doesn't stop the dash over the wall, but Rogue just straight up commits and continuing to pick on the Riven. I was going to say, look at the item spikes. No 2 items completed for the Draven, but it is there and more for Cassio. Azir went back, finished his Nash's, is working on his second, but Bombers are primed and ready for a team fight around the Baron pit. And a member down for Chiefs make this game very scary at the current minute.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like Rogue is kind of playing out of his mind this game, you know? It's like one of those Thresh games that you're really just feeling. Hex flashes into hooks.
Yeah.
Perfect flash E combo. Looking really good right now.
Because personally, like, I love Hex Flash. The opportunities it provides just to, and I say fishing a lot, like to go fishing. Like you start channeling it, they have to respect it from the moment you start channeling. Yeah. And especially in this case, when you're ahead, right? From behind, it's difficult to use effectively, and you've paid the price of like 5% CDR or biscuits for your lane phase or something like that. As another hook's on, okay, stopwatch.
If you're just landing hooks, oh, didn't place down the flag. We'll still get out of there, but the hook's now onto the Azir instead.
And it looks like a mistake, but that is genius play. Rogue is sitting there with a flay ready to cancel it. Only just throws Q, no flag, no dash. Rogue wastes it. They do get a dragon though. Oh,
there's the Vanguard's Edge, and Claire just explodes in the backline. So does his Riven. Wilder kiting away. Ray's chasing down, tries to get the kill for the Adoration, but he's dragged back. And Ayla really wants this kill right now. Can't quite finish it off, and Oli is coming down, see if he can cut him off. Flag drag over to the Krugs. Wilder sees this happening, and he runs back in. Throws out the W, gets the healing off the explosion. That will be the 8, 5-0.
Yeah, clean for Bombers. No turrets, no dragon, and no deaths. So the perfect game is still on. Pings onto the Baron. TP is going to get them to the pit quick, smart. And Bombers are just demolishing the Chiefs. This draft, the Riven, the Draven, the confidence in this lineup has just been completely smacked back. God damn.
And now we can say it, because you said it yourself. We're at 25 minutes.
Does it count if he died to Baron then? You know what I mean? If Smite W didn't heal him and Wilder died.
It's not on the scoreboard.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to say no.
And we'll see how this one eventuates. Dragon ulti tried to find the fight, but that was just heads up from Ryoma onto the entire backline. Wilder falling incredibly low, dashes himself to safety, and at this point, Raze is just like, well, I'm dead anyway, I might as well try and get the kill. Looked a bit silly, blowing the cleanse, blowing everything to try and clean it up, and yeah, there's just no winning a team fight from this point. It looks sketchy here from Wilder, but W evolved, needs the extra healing. Hook is on again, and yeah, Bomber's just cleaning up.
Yeah, 11-0, 4 dragons, 4 towers. Baron in mid lane. Kha'Zix's just clearing the jungle while his team pushes mid lane. Aatrox in the bottom, just getting this wave pushing. And Bombers, you know, this is like an absolute deconstruction of the Chiefs. This is 3rd versus 1st right now.
This is demolishing. Death cap almost done for the Cassio. Doesn't need to waste money on any sort of boots. This is an engage though. Lute's under fire.
Oh, what a lantern. And that was just all the engage burnt right there. We'll flick him back. Vanguard's Edge exchanged for Emperor's Divide. Wilder flies on through. The enemy team stealthed up, jumps to his team. Just says hello.
Yeah, takes behind enemy lines to a whole new meaning there. And now base under fire, actually. Mimic is inside posturing against Raze.
Yeah, he literally pushed that wave from his outer bottom lane turret all the way to inhibitor. And now he's able to win this 1v1 against Raze. Not a lot he can do. Mid lane stuns down, and the Riven is just straight up dead. There's the shutdown though, over to Yuumi. Of course that's the way they would end the perfect game. Kill to the Yuumi. And now 12-1. Bottom lane Wilder and Mimic grouping up. taking down this inhibitor in the base as well, and truly cracked.
And it was almost just a diversion in the mid lane. Yes, they go 1-for-1. The bottom side broken, as you mentioned. Wilder just commits over there with Mimic. They break the inhib and can reset, flip the map, go top. Mid lane is basically dead. A couple of auto attacks from anybody of the Bombers lineup will be able to take that one down. And this gold lane is, what, 13, 12,000 basically over the Chiefs right now. And they just have no answer. A single kill now to the Yuumi. There's minimum 2,000 gold deficit, barring support, in every single role.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, 0-5 Riven game is as far away as you can get from the first game we saw from TN on this pick, you know? A really feast or famine pick in general. I mean, that just is Riven to a T, in all honesty. Yeah, 12-1.
He's got more vision score, though.
He does, yeah.
28 to 24.
What actually calculates the vision score? Because, like, is that just an arbitrary number?
Considered by most players, it's pretty irrelevant. But it's a weird calculation. The formula, I don't know it exactly, and I don't think anybody does. Because it takes into account how long your relevant wards live, how long a ward has left when you clear it. So like you get 2 vision score for a ward that has 2 minutes remaining, as opposed to like if it has 10 seconds. So it's not just like 1 score is 1 ward. There's more that goes into it, and it does like calculate relevance like based on who it's seen. It's a creative one, but is kind of hard to track.
Yeah, it's just that 1 score in League on the scoreboard that you have no idea what that number means.
Yeah, you just like nobody talks about it. Never have I ever mentioned vision score other than right now.
But it exists, you know?
Yeah.
Mid lane cracked open now onto the inhibitor. Chiefs had to bring 3 members to the top side to clear out that minion wave, stop Mimic from just taking the tower by himself, and only Warlock for the engage. Throws out the ultimate into the Cataclysm. TN comes in as well, gets a good stun, but they just don't have the damage, but Ryoma does. Gets 2 kills off of that one. Now chasing onto Raze and Claire as they move back to the towers. Only 2 towers remaining in this one as well. The Dodgers hook onto Claire, finish them off with a triple there for Luch.
Yeah, monstrous game from the Bombers in this one. Straight onto the Nexus, and that's going to close it out.
That's moving on to the spawn pad now as well. Ray's doing what he can, has the buff. Ryoma even walks onto the spawn pad. So does Luch as well. Comes in, tries to get his Quadra. Indeed does. Wants his pentakill. And won't get it because the game ends in a near perfect game. 3rd defeats first. And Bombers take the win.
Yeah, you heard Soul Strikes in the interview. They want to close the season strong. And that's about as strong as it gets. Rogue up out of his chair. He should be. That was a monster Thresh performance for a guy that, in all honesty, right, like going into this split and the Bombers, this guy came from Sin, was known for his Thresh back then, had a disappointing split and time in order, but struggled at the start of the season. This is a very strong closeout on his signature champion that has to feel so good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be honest, this whole game was everybody bringing their signature champion to the table, right? And, like, when you're in a battle of basically just bragging rights, like that's gotta feel good, especially against the Chiefs. You know, this isn't just any random team in the league. This is like TN, first game on Riven, pops off, like has a highlight play that's just like straight into the penta, you know, like worldwide renown. You know, this is like a career-making clip right there.
Yeah.
Follow-up game, you shut them down 0-5. You know, like that's
with ease.
Yeah,
right? Like,
with ease.
Like there was never really a point where you're like, oh, Chiefs are making a comeback. What's going to happen? Like Draven never cashed in. I don't even think he got a kill at the end of that game. And you just mentioned it, right? Like it's not just that the Bombers did it on their picks. It wasn't Ryoma Aurelia. It wasn't Rogue Thresh. Yes, that exists, but it's that your opponents like opted in. You know what I mean? It's like it is the fact that he had confidence to go Riven. It's the fact that Raze goes back to his Draven. We don't have that many Draven players in the OPL, and he is one of the best down there. And bottom lane, they were just getting smacked. Yes, they got dove, but you can only set up a dive off a winning lane. All of the work had been done already, and Bombers just looking straight up good. Yeah,
made him look like nothing, you know? Like, you wouldn't guess, like, if you'd watched 0 of the OPL, and you're just like, that's the first team right there that just got smashed by Bombers. Yeah, absolutely. But gotta feel good. Interrupts the 9-game win streak as well from the Chiefs. So
Vault was talking about the tenor.
Yep, so that's shut down as well. So, congrats to the
Bombers are just crushing dreams.
There you go. Well, for now, we are going to send it over to Jake to talk to the Bombers.
Thank you very much, Pulse and Ejim. Great cast on the nice. I'm joined by Tommy, victorious mid laner of the Bombers, the only person to die in that game. Talk me through the death, and were you a little bit salty about that?
Yeah, nah. If I just played a bit more safe, I'd stop watching I couldn't click the lantern. I was just trying to click the lantern, it didn't work, and I was like, oh my god, no. But yeah, if we just played a bit slower, maybe we could have perfect gamed. But
But
Unlucky.
the Chiefs are the top team. They've got the auto seed through to MEO. You guys currently sitting in third. Was that just a little bit of like doubt seated in the Chiefs' mind, do you think, going into that final?
Honestly, I think Chiefs in the finals would want to verse Mammoth, not us. I think they don't have the best record against us. I think across the board, I think we match up pretty well, and like we know how to deal with them. But it's just up to us to beat Mammoth, and yeah.
And talk to me about yourself, because a little bit of a shocker against Get Back.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a, I don't want to say you ran it down mid lane, but you certainly were at a slow jog at certain points in that game, into a very, very good Aurelia game. How's the mental fortitude going? Because the Tommy of old, that would have been a very hard game to bounce back from.
Yeah, nah, like, honestly, I wasn't really mentally that prepared for the Divers game. I thought, like, I guess, like, I wasn't, like, that, like, I was just, like, oh, it's just, if we lose, it's, like, kind of whatever, but it's whatever. But then, like, against Chiefs, I really didn't want to lose, and it's just, like, all right, we'll try it. I'll try it against Chiefs, but obviously it's a pretty bad mindset to head into for the game. But, yeah, no, that kind of hit me, like, it just showed, like, it just told me, like, today, so before the Chiefs game, I just, like, said to myself, I'm just really going to focus right now and, like, not run it down.
Yeah, and I saw that you were kind of really zen. I walked upstairs to talk to some of the boys. You were just chilling on the couch with your headphones in.
Really trying to.
Is that how you get into your like headspace?
Yeah, like I just try to do your own thing. You know, you just want to try getting that vibe and then just feel it. And then like I really felt it like just before this game. And like the moment I got Aurelia, like I knew it was on.
You knew.
Yeah.
Going into Gauntlet, you guys waiting for the winner of Order versus Direwolves. Who's it going to be? Who do you want to... First off, who do you want to play?
I think I want to play... I don't know. I had a shock against Get Back, so... and we've been 3-0'd but Order this split, so... I don't know. Maybe forfeit?
Just forfeit? So who is coming through then? Who wins?
I think I'd rather verse Direwolves since, like, Order has 3-0'd us and, like, we don't have the best record against them, so, yeah... Probably Direwolves.
They're pretty scary at the moment.
Yeah,
People are saying they could win.
Yeah, I don't know. Both teams, I think all 5 teams are pretty good. Like, honestly, like, I think all 5 teams can probably run the whole gauntlet.
And last question. You said that you've been working on your leadership skills. This is obviously the biggest week of the Bombers' year. Even though that you made MSI, there's nothing like making a World Finals. I don't think anything competes, especially in a country or an area like Europe. What are you going to do this week to ensure that the Bombers are the team that really step up?
I think I've been lacking with the Silas. Like, I've kind of negated, like, my champions, and I've worked on the Azir. So, like, I've been playing Azir a lot this past couple of weeks, but I think there's a lot more champions for me to practice, and there's still a lot more things that I need to do independently before I can, like, say, like, I don't want to regret anything before heading into, like, say, the finals or the gauntlet if we lose.
Well, I think that you've played a pretty good split. So congratulations on coming third and best of luck in the gauntlet.
Thank
However,
you.
that is the interview done. Let's throw it to a break before we close out the show.
Go and do it, yeah. Okay.
Do the ultimate right here. Where he's going to get caught in the box. Luch throws out the ultimate, petrifies Ayla. He reattaches to Raze. Teleport into the bottom lane, gets the first kill onto Ayla, the second onto the AD carry, and only has to back away. 3 kills to start this game.
Yeah, only just throws Q, no flag, no dash, Rogue wastes it. They do get a dragon though. Oh!
There's the Vanguard's Edge, and Claire just explodes in the backline. So does his Riven. Wilder kiting away. Raze chasing down, tries to get the kill for the Adoration, but he's dragged back. And Ayla really wants this kill right now. Can't quite finish it off, and Oli is coming down, see if he can gut him off. Black drag over to the Krugs. Wilder sees this happening, and he runs back in. Throws out the W, gets the healing off the explosion. That will be the ace. 5-0.
Yeah.
That minion whip stopped Mimic from just taking the tower by himself, and only will look for the engage. Throws out the ultimate into the Cataclysm. Tien comes in as well, gets a good stun, but they just don't have the damage. But Ryoma does. Gets 2 kills off of that one. Now chasing on to Raze and Claire as they move back to the towers. Only 2 towers remaining in this one.
Hooks
While
on.
the Dodgers hook onto Claire, finish him off for the triple there for Luch.
Yeah, monstrous game from the Bombers in this one. Straight onto the Nexus, and that's going to close it out.
That's moving on to the spawn pad now as well. Ray's doing what he can, has the buff. Rayma even walks onto the spawn pad. So does Luch as well. Comes in, tries to get his Quadra.
Hooks
Indeed
on.
does. Wants his pentakill.
A little goes a long way at Macca's. Enjoy a delicious small cheeseburger meal with your choice of an apple or raspberry and custard pie for just $4.
Welcome back. We're done. That's the regular season done.
Done and dusted.
We're going into Gauntlet. We're going into finals, but that was a dominant performance by the Bombers to close out the regular season, really sending a message, in my opinion, to the Chiefs that 2 weeks away, MEO is looming.
I mean, that's the best way to send off the regular season if you're the Bombers. It's not just a message to the Chiefs already there, but that's everyone in the Gauntlet saying they mean business, you know? Like, this is a team that has the potential. And the funny thing is the game before, Mammoth with a TFT comp win in 25 minutes. So, like, we're ramped. Like, we're ready to go. This is sick.
Yeah, like the gap is looking so big, and then Bombers are just like, okay, like you're literally already in the final, and like you have to play Gauntlet against us.
And not to steal your word, Bryce, but was this a bit of fishing from the Chiefs? They play Thien into Mimic, which he hasn't done before. They play heavily topside.
Oh, he hasn't played this split against Mimic?
No.
Okay.
They play heavily topside, which the Chiefs never do. That's the first time Only has ever gone near a top lane. And they also play a very early game bottom lane in the Draven into a mage. Had the Chiefs, even though they've lost the battle, is this a game that wins them the war in the long run? Or did
they're
I
just
just
like
spout
throwing
complete bullshit and this is just the next level warfare?
well, maybe. Like honestly, the answer is like no idea. And I know you called me out for saying that before, like on your cast, the previous game. But like maybe I think like when you take a look at it and like how that eventuated, like this isn't fancy from Bombers. Mimic is like a huge Aatrox player. They play the Mage, they played the Cassio Thresh before. And this is probably a time where they're like, we've played Riven into Aatrox, matchup is good. It's different players, and it didn't work out this time. And I think maybe they would think twice about Draven into a Cassio now, but they were like, we can body them early with a poke from Yuumi. So I don't necessarily think they were fishing for like some long haul game. But like they definitely got smacked around, and Chiefs are going to go back and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think they just went for strong stuff, right? And I think that's where they actually went wrong. You know, the Chiefs, they always pick good comps. And
Yeah,
I
they're a
think
comp team.
this game was just a bunch of cool dudes that won lane. And I think that was where they went really wrong. Like, Yuumi going with the Draven. Imagine, you're a support player. Imagine being Yuumi. Draven's going to pick up an axe and you're throwing a Q this way. You spend the whole game arguing with your AD carry on what you're doing. Like, do I catch the axe? Do I hit the Q? Like, what a mess. I would never play that lane. That'd be so bad.
That's all I got out of Rusty this whole game.
never thought
by the
about
way,
that at all. That's
he's
funny.
like, look at him trying to catch that axe. Look at this Q going absolutely nowhere.
So sad.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a shocker. However, that does mean that the regular season is done. Let's pull up the results of the day. It was Direwolves picking up the win over Gravitas, ending Gravitas' season. Mammoth then took down Avant Gaming. And Direwolves, maybe with the biggest upset of the day, took down Bombers in pretty commanding fashion in
Get
the
back,
end.
buddy. Popping off.
Order then secured their Gauntlet spot versus Avant Gaming. Mammoth played a very good Demons into Shapeshifter comp, which took down Legacy. Just too much Matter Bird. Demons still OP, apparently. And then Bombers, nigh perfect game the Chiefs. And that is really a statement to end the season.
Certainly a statement. But Direwolves also go 3-0 in the week. Yeah, Mammoth TFT to victory. Like, everyone in the Gauntlet right now is just, like, jacked and ready.
They certainly are, of course. Let's see where those results leave everyone in the rankings. The Chiefs are going to be first spot. They have their head-to-head versus Mammoth, who do tie them up on points. They'll get second. Bombers, very good third spot. You know, we talked about the top two for a long time, but Bombers really have joined that now. Direwolves maybe the hottest team in the league right now on a 3-game winning streak for Super Week. Order, once again, just Houdini their way into the Gauntlet.
They
somehow.
make it in. They make it in.
Avant Gaming, Gravitas will be tied up there for 6, of course. Avant have the head-to-head, and then Legacy, unfortunately, with just the solo win for the season, will round us out on 8th. And of course, guys, that means that the Gauntlet is locked. Starting next Thursday, the 22nd of August at 4 p.m. It's going to be Order taking on the Direwolves. Winner plays Bombers, winner plays Mammoth, and of course, the Chiefs Esports Club are going to be waiting at the Melbourne Esports
The
Open.
Melbourne Esports Open.
Want to get your preview. Order versus Direwolves. It's a 3-0 on the season for Direwolves. They seem to have had Order's measure throughout the entirety.
Yeah, this is really good for that reason alone. Because if Order does win, they've got a 3-0 versus Bombers, right? So we've found ourselves in, like, I don't want to say it's the style matchup, the trump cards, but they're things that we've been throwing around all split. Where, like, Direwolves should win, but if Order win, I see them running the gauntlet.
So how does it happen? Like, what are your thoughts on this matchup? Break it down for me.
You can't favor Order going into that game. I think, like, if it is, it's like, and I'm sorry to do it to the boys. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good friends with Sam and Simon, but like,
apparently
I think,
not me.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you're on the couch, so you have to be
you.
ambivalent. But like, if it is like Order doing the same thing, it's the same fashion of, oh my god, they barely scraped in. They have to elevate and run the gauntlet because Direwolves have just looked straight good, 3-0 on the weekend. And then you go up the ladder. Ryoma sitting on this couch like 5 minutes ago mentioning like the fact that, yeah, they've 3-0'd the Chiefs. And it's like a battle of like that second place. If the 4th and 5th place game don't progress and make the run, then it does get really scary as you face off against the MEO contenders.
Yeah, for me, it's Rays, and I think that if Order want to win, I think Spooks has to lift. That's how I would see them winning.
He did have a pretty good weekend, Spooks, even if he didn't have a voice. Of course, that is going to be next week. And it's all heading towards the Melbourne Esports Open. If you're not there, like, I really question whether you're a League of Legends fan at this point.
Even
I'm
a
just going to
gamer.
put the hard call out there. It's the 31st of August, Saturday. Get your tickets, melbourneesportsopen.com.au/tickets. We're going to be there. Pulse is going to be there. Hing is not going to be there. And
God damn
hopefully
it.
Nick has returned because this hosting job really isn't all it was cracked up to be. I was sold under false pretense, and it's just not worked out the way it should have. So I'd like to apologize to everyone that watched, but also thank our sponsors. Of course, that is going to be McDonald's, the official partner of the OPL, M-Wave, the official retail provider of the OPL, and HyperX, the official headset of the OPL. That's all us done for the regular season. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always, and we'll catch you next Thursday for the Gauntlet.
See you on the flip.